Hi, so today I'm going to be revisiting my last but one video, and I'm going to talk about convergence insufficiency and posture and prisms and hyperopia. So I'm going to be covering all of those and how they kind of all gel together really. So there's been a bit of research. I haven't got the names here, but this was done in 2018, and it was looking at the amount of body sway in people with convergence insufficiency. So they were comparing people who had convergence insufficiency. They were looking at near things and then far things with their eyes open, and then they were closing their eyes in between, looking at different distances, and people were measuring how much they swayed between looking at things with their eyes open and closing their eyes in between looking at different things. And they found that there was more body sway for those when they kept their eyes open to look at stuff. So that was quite an interesting study. So I also came across another web page. I don't have it here. It was a random one really, and I've seen a couple like this. So this one lists how convergence insufficiency affects the rest of the body. So this is coming out a bit more really, which is it's nice to see and interesting to see. So we got the usual neck, back and eye pain, like the classic triad as you have with hyperopia. They also mentioned dyspraxia, and they mentioned it as a consequence of convergence insufficiency. And I was kind of pleased to see that there, because this is something that I've had issues with, and covering one eye has really made a huge difference, to the point where I'm thinking, do I actually still have dyspraxia? I'm really thinking, whatever I've got, there's so little of it, I probably don't still have it with one eye covered, which would be great news for other people as well. It's something to try. Scoliosis, yes, because if you got binocular vision problems, you're going to be tilting awkwardly or leaning awkwardly. So yeah, I can quite see it leading to that. Nausea and motion sickness, and again, if you're leaning one way or the other, that's upsetting the fine-tuning balance mechanism in your ears. So that as well. They also mentioned hernia, like, but I can see a case for that too, because if you're leaning awkwardly, then you are exerting yourself more here, so around the stomach area. So yeah, I can see that connection. So anyway, I'm going to now go back over like the same personal history I talked about in the last video, hopefully with a few additions. So I first got base-in prisms to help my eyes come together. This was well before I'd been diagnosed with hyperopia. So at this point I was diagnosed with convergence insufficiency, given the prisms. They were really great for a couple of weeks, but after a month the effect had worn off. I mean, I was only using them for reading. But my eyes, you know, after an initial improvement, I continued to have the same pain, and it, you know, just got worse basically. So the next thing I tried was bed glasses, which is a big prism, which elderly or, you know, maybe people with back injuries might use, so they don't have to lean forward to read. They can just have the book on their lap, or just, you know, hold it propped up on the bed, and just read something that is on your lap in this position here. And I found that really, really helpful. So I went to an optician who gave me base down prisms, which obviously they're more like regular glasses, sort of like my base in prisms, but the base was here instead of here, so that so that I could look down easier. And I found that really helpful. I had a nicer posture. The only thing I did find was I was kind of stuck a bit like this, but it was really helpful in dealing with the neck pain, because I'd be reading like this before. I'd have a horrible posture, and that really helped. And then basically what happened was, like, I was having to move, you know, seriously move things further and further away, which I was anyway, but I was finding even more of a need for it. So I went back to so basically that, I think those glasses kind of really started bringing out the hyperopia that was already there, because what they did, by the fact that the bases were down, it disrupted the overconvergence, because, you know, I've been doing that all my life basically. So instead of doing this to read, I was just sitting up a lot straighter, and because I could hold things further away, not converging nearly as much. And also the fact that the bases were there, not only did it mean I didn't have to converge, it broke the cycle so that I could actually diverge. So eventually, or quite shortly after that actually, I tried out a light pair of pluses. So the optician made me a light pair of pluses, and I really, really needed them. That was obvious from the first moment I put them on. And it's, you know, it does seem that the prisms I was wearing did seem to have a hand in that. But I got such an improvement from the pluses that I kind of forgot about the convergence insufficiency. Although I did experiment with, you know, various things, because it wasn't perfect. And I did try one up, one down prism, and I think that had the same effect. So it's almost like I was having break convergence, improve posture, you know, be able to diverge, and it brings out the hyperopia. So all of those things are kind of tied up, really. So there were a couple of things that I noticed, because I mean, I've talked about this often. My eyesight varies. So sometimes I can see perfectly fine through a really high pair of pluses like this, and then by the end of the day that figure is much lower. And there are times it is tied to posture. So if I go for a walk, for instance, you know, suddenly I can see much more because I'm mobile, because I'm moving. Anything really that makes me straighten up and relax. I like taking the Ventolin inhaler. Not that I've taken one for ages, but that is one effect I noticed of it. And it kind of, the Ventolin, for those who have asthma, you know, you take it when you're a bit wheezy, and it makes you a bit shaky. So it loosens you up, basically. So that was probably disrupting the convergence and bringing out the hyperopia. So, you know, I've adjusted my posture to really deal with the hyperopia and to try and maintain convergence. And I've probably been going about this a bit the wrong way, because, you know, I've seen the link between, right, you straighten up, you relax, and then you can see. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, well, maybe never mind about straighten up so I can see. That's not the point. Just straighten up to have a more comfortable posture, and what happens happens. If I've got the right glasses on, I'm not going to suddenly go into a must converge spasm, so I can just let it ride, and rather than trying to maintain it, just practice the posture, you know, a few times a day for a few minutes, just so that I get used to, okay, this is what an even posture is like. This is what a straight, relaxed posture is like, and just practice being in that moment. I'm not doing it so I can see stuff or to change my eyesight in any way. I'm just practicing the posture, so that hopefully I will be a lot more comfortable. You know, and I should have the glasses really to be able to maintain that posture, and hopefully, you know, I'll be able to, you know, maybe do it for 30 or 10 seconds perhaps, then 30 seconds, and build up, because, you know, because the amount of hyperopia I had anyway, and my way of dealing with it, which was adopting a different posture. You know, I've been doing that all my life. So by doing a different posture, you know, I'm going to have to learn a completely different way of doing it. So it's not going to happen overnight. So, you know, just doing it a little bit at a time. So up straight, open, relaxed, what have you. And, you know, over time, hopefully, that will get to be a new normal. So that's going to be my approach. So have I really got anything to add? Yeah, so when I'm standing up in a relaxed way, also I've noticed my eyes are in a different position. So it's a bit difficult to describe, but they kind of turn sort of a bit more like I don't know. I don't know how to describe this, to be honest, at all. But they're just in a position where they're a lot better aligned. So I'm looking straight on instead of doing this maybe and trying to look out of the top part of my eye or whatever. And I think I'm also squinting, but not in the way that I normally squint because I'm trying to line stuff up. This is just normal when your eyelid drops ever so slightly, and this feels more right. So just getting used to that feeling, not trying to make it go anywhere or do anything, just getting used to kind of recognizing that's a normal thing. So yeah, so to come, yeah, here we are. Now I have read this somewhere, I don't remember where, but it was very recently, and it is, as far as I know, it is quite recent. Scholarly article, medical article, what have you. With convergence insufficiency, your eyes undershoot. So your eyes are trying to say, look at that, but they will converge about here. So you bring the paper closer, then they'll converge about here, so you bring it closer. So your eyes are trying to overdo it in a way by falling short of the target. So you're always bringing stuff closer and closer. So you either look less long-sighted than you are, or you look not long-sighted at all, or you can even look short-sighted when you're not short-sighted at all. That is actually a thing with convergence insufficiency, and I have talked about that in another video. So being able to break the convergence is really, really good for managing that. So let's see what else I've got here. So yeah, I mean, for me, disrupting the convergence or breaking the convergence is really what induces or brings out the hyperopia. And obviously, because this has been such a habit for me, I mean, it is difficult for people to discover, unless you really understand how this works and what you're looking for, you know, to be completely fair. And if I've had all this going on, the other thing, for things moving towards me, so if you've got eyes or a convergence that is always falling short of the target, so you're never quite hitting what you're looking at. So you could be, you know, if you rest your eyes, you're overshooting. If you're looking at something, you're undershooting. You're basically all over the place. So if I'm in, say, not if I'm driving, if I'm a passenger and there's traffic coming towards me, it's really quite difficult, because now you've got a moving target and you've got to work out where are you going to, you know, where are you going to place your eye, or place your, where are you going to target your gaze to see it? Because by the time you've targeted it a bit closer, then, you know, the car's already moved towards you. So you got the same thing tenfold, really. So that really is a challenge, but you know, hopefully that can be overcome with, you know, stabilizing the vision, with disrupting, you know, the convergence, and being able to converge, diverge, and just do it more naturally. So yeah, I think we'll finish that one here, because really I've gone over a lot of stuff here. So yeah, I really hope that was helpful, and please like and subscribe, and hope to see you in my next video.